the chess, ladies and gentlemen. All right, man, I appreciate you guys very much for strolling on by. So as you guys know, we have the quarterfinals of the Speed Chess Championship going on right now. So I got Fabiano Caruana versus Firouzja. And it was a really nice match, man. One of these players, they really kind of dominated the other. So your best guess as to who did that. But this is the game number 18 that they played with each other right here. And this is when they got into the bullet portion. So all of my people in the Philippines, Meron Salamat. All of my people that are coming from France, I would say merci beaucoup. All of my people that are coming from Iran, I'll say khili mamnoon. But if you guys are ready to go, man, let's take a look, see what we got for this game. All right, man, so we got D4. Knight goes to F6. We do see knight to F3. Kind of breaking away from the more common C4 that you do see, but still very sound and flexible. We do see C5. Just immediately saying, bro, I want to trade my flank pawn for your central pawn. You know, relinquish some of your central control. We did not see that. That was an accident. Misclicking. We do see pawn taking C5. We do see the move E6. You have a lot of different options to try to get this pawn back. I mean, there's knight to A6 situations, but, you know, we're just basically saying we want to try to get this pawn back soon. We do see knight going to C3. Now, this is a little bit more rare. Generally, before you do see the knight committed to C3, you would see a C4. Just making sure that we can, like, tuck this knight in behind the pawn. But knight to C3 is playable also. We got bishop taking C5. We see the move G3. We got D5. Now, this is automatically the way pretty much you're going to be playing as black, setting up a nice pawn structure. But another tip, you are, after bishop G2, trying to kind of put a lot of resistance on this bishop, kind of trying to blend it down somewhat. We do see bishop to G2. We got knight to C6. Castles by white, castles by black. Bishop goes to G5. We got H6, bishop taking F6, queen taking F6, and then we actually see the novelty of the game right now, and that is the move E3. Now, I will say this. It is a little bit passive to play in this position. It's definitely much better, and we've actually seen it before going the move E4. Just trying to, you know, kind of have the same idea that black had earlier. You know, you see that black definitely has like a little bit more of a presence in the center. So you kind of have to combat that. E3 doesn't do that. It does kind of somewhat slow down the D4 move, but like I said, it's a little bit passive. So black definitely is for choice as far as central control is concerned. Going into the E4, we would probably see E4, then D4. And after knight goes to A4, bishop goes back to E7. Like I was telling you guys before, you know, we have somewhat kind of shut this queen down on this diagonal. E3 doesn't really do that. It keeps it active. And you just have a little bit more of a presence in the center. But going back to what we had, we did see the move E3. So one of the things that you do notice is if this knight does move at some point, you do kind of have some pressure on this B2 point. We see rook going over to D8. We do see knight going to B5. And to be completely honest about this move, knight to B5, I would just assume that Fabiano Caruana is deciding to go knight B5 as a way to kind of like try to prevent D4 from coming on the board. Maybe he wants to kind of redirect the knight back here to this point. But this is a somewhat weak move because it does basically just donate a pawn to black for no reason. You got queen taking B2. Firouzja just said, hey, man, give me the pawn. I'm good. And, I mean, you don't really have a whole lot of a counterattack. Like I said, you have just completely given your pawn away for free. And so Firouzja's like, let me go ahead and grab that. We do see rook going to B1. We got queen going back to F6. And the interesting thing about this position, you do have to be careful because a lot of times when you do go grabbing pawns on like B7 or B2 or something, you do kind of have to be careful that you don't get your queen trapped. But queen taking A2 is actually the best move in the position right here. And it just gets you another pawn, homie. You know, rook goes to A1. You always have the ability to just come back here, or even you can just like retreat here like this and kind of get out of dodge. You are good to go, man. But, you know, Firouzja just says, hey, man, I kind of did my damage, and I'm going to go ahead and come out of that. We do see queen going to E2. We got bishop to D7. And then we do see the move C4. Now, E4 and C4 are very, I mean, they have pretty much the same idea behind them. You have to chip away at this pawn structure because black just has too much control over the center, homie. And they definitely are a little bit more developed than white are. After we see C4, we got pawn taking C4, queen taking C4. Now, the thing that you have to notice from both of these positions is, I mean, white is pretty much completely developed and everything, and so is black. They both have done everything they need to do out of the opening, but black is up an entire pawn. They have the double bishops in an open position. And really, I mean, it's almost two pawns worth of an advantage if you are on the black side. So definitely, if I was looking at the position, I was like, deciding if I want to be white or black, I'm going to take black all day. You guys should too. We do see the move b6, protecting the bishop on c5. It was a little lonely a second ago. We got rook f to d1. We got rook a to c8. We see queen stepping over to e4. We got the move a6, asking the knight, what does it want to do? We do see the knight going to d6, and then we have a pretty accurate move. Like I said, if you are black, you do have these double bishops, and the position is very open. So it doesn't really, from a human perspective, seem that it's legitimate to give that up. So we just see Firouzja just sidestepping over to b8 with his rook. And we do see the move h4 by white. And I mean, you're just trying to create a little bit of like, breathing room for your king a little bit, stuff like that. But we have actually reached a position. There is a very beautiful move that you can make by black, and it's somewhat of a quiet move. So I kind of hit you on that. If you want to try to pause the video and guess this nice quiet move, go ahead and do so. Okay, cool. So it's not like an explosive move. It's not like a sacrifice. It's not some like tactical shot or anything. Basically, when you're looking at the position, especially if you're a French player, this move should kind of stick out to you. But what you should notice in the position is these rooks are actually pretty good. This knight is well placed. You do have this bishop in a really nice spot. But what one piece do you have that's not really the absolute happiest? And that is bishop on d7. What can you try to do to help improve its mood? Go e5. If you thought of e5, then, I mean, I don't even know, man. You're just great. I mean, that's just good to go. You have a lot of threats in this position now. You have opened this bishop up on this entire diagonal. You have laterally started to attack this knight twice with this queen. So, you're looking at maybe bishop coming to f5 type stuff. Maybe in the future at some point if you get rid of knight d6. So this is a really, really beautiful move. It's a very, very positional move, and this pawn is very, very well taken care of on the e5 square. We do see Caruana going queen to d5, kind of trying to protect this knight a little bit more. We do see bishop going to f5, and this is a nice discover attack. You do see here that now we have 3 attackers on the knight, and you really don't have anywhere to move the knight because the queen is exposed. And that is why it is definitely very dangerous to be opposite rooks. If you are a queen or a king, because it can get kind of dicey. We actually see the move rook takes b6 in the position. And this is, I mean, the position was pretty dire before that. But, I mean, Firouzja is just saying, bro, I see your bluff. Like, I'm not even tripping on all that. So he just takes rook takes d6. He just basically says, man, you drop your knight and I'm going to go ahead and take it for free. We got a rook taking b8 with check. The knight takes b8. And this is the position that Fabiano Caruana resigns the game. Now, I will say this about this. Firouzja, like, really just kind of manhandled Fabiano Caruana today. I think it was like 18.5 to or it was like 14.5 to 8.5, I think, was the final score. So he really did his thing against Fabiano. And, I mean, Fabi played for the World Championship at one point. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe Fabi kind of slipping down a little bit. Or, we got Firouzja just kind of being on boss beast mode right now. But this was actually a really good game. I mean, I think you guys can see you can't keep playing this if you're white. Basically, one of the only options that you have in the position is to go back queen to b3 and just make sure that you're protecting this rook on d1. But black can just say, man, we'll trade down. Rook takes, queen takes. And, I mean, it really doesn't too much matter who you are. Like, you can't play this, man. Like, you can't play this against somebody that's Firouzja's caliber. So, I mean, it makes sense that he resigned the game. So all of my people in the Philippines, maraming salamat na king makaibigan po sa nanonood ng king mga video. Mabuting pagbati to you. Ingat lagi. I appreciate everybody very much for stopping by. Sige. And anybody who is coming from, let me see, who is coming from Iran, I will say Chatori. Salam. I appreciate you guys very much for stopping by. Mes amis. Merci beaucoup. Mon meilleur pour toi. I appreciate you guys very much, and I'm going to see y'all next time.